about all the things that are happening with the program. And so, welcome. If you are joining us online or if you're here in the studio, we're just going to get settled in. And I thought that today, if I didn't say, my name is Tracy, and that today we would just talk a little bit about and even bring into our practice, which is my most favorite thing about yoga, is that it is just a practice. So, in our practice today, I thought we would bring in the idea of energy and that we have the ability in our own beings to play around with energy. And I just think that's cool. So that came into my mind today. I'm a school teacher as well, so that I was dealing with a lot of high energy students as the end of the school year approaches. So we're going to start. Normally, I would begin the practice with breath work, but I wanted to start with the movement of energy. So we're going to bring the palms of our hands together and have some friction. So if you'll start by just rubbing your hands together, and if you'll notice that if you do this with more intensity, that you'll create some warmth, which is really cool. Now, if you're my age, which would be 50, um, plus some, then you might be familiar with like Karate Kid, right? Where he does this and then he heals. But we can do that. So just take a minute or maybe less and create some energy and some warmth in your body and begin to notice what that does in your arms. Like my arms already, my biceps and my shoulders are tired. So as soon as that begins to happen, I'm not looking for you to create any sort of, oh, I'm exhausted, but just enough to give yourself that idea. And then once you have some warmth, bring some warmth to either one of your hands and relax. And just begin to touch your fingers, maybe individually, maybe all together. There's no right, there's no wrong. But begin to just kind of work your way around whichever hand you chose and notice it. Maybe even roll out the wrists as you do so, just giving yourself a little massage while beginning to notice your breath. Taking it even up to the shoulder, tickling the shoulder. Maybe even if you can get there, reaching to the top and perhaps even around to the trap muscle in the back. Woof. And then working your way back down the arm. In whatever fashion, I'm finding myself like, oh, my skin's a little dry, but I don't want to judge, which is really the practice of being in the moment, is that I'm here right now. And when your palms meet again, begin to create that friction. Hmm. As much as you would like, knowing where you're headed, which is to the other side. So just noticing that you can create some more heat or a little less and bring it to the other side of your body. How cool is that? And relaxing into this space right here, right now. And just moving your way up your arm which I don't often pay attention to. Breathing deep breaths, generous exhales. Just moving all the way up to the shoulder. And if you can make it there, maybe even towards the back of the shoulder blade, the trap muscle. And then my practicing yogis, just working your way back down your arm in whatever fashion you like. And letting your hands just rest on your knees as we sit here in this easy seat in Sukhasana. And that just makes me want to roll my neck out. So sometimes I just flow with it. So if you're with me in whatever direction you like, before I ask for you to find some stillness, if there's anything that giving some warmth with your own energy made you kind of feel like, I want to stretch this part of my body, then please do that. And then I would like to invite you into some stillness. Once you're done moving around, palms up as an invitation to invite the sense of smell. I brought with me some peppermint spray. So if you're here in the studio, I'll offer that. Wave it around. And if you're here, I think this is the camera. Wave it around. I'm pretty selfish, so I could live in it. Big deep breath in. And as you find some stillness, I would like to just give a little story and ask that you begin to just focus in on your breath. And this is a true story. So I'm not on social media. I'm a school teacher. I stay away from all of that. And I love yoga. I love the practice of it. And I love teaching it. And I love taking yoga classes. I don't take them for exercise. I take them for the practice of quieting my mind. Knowing all of that, I found myself wanting to see my instructor, the person who taught me how to practice yoga, which eventually led me to the YouTube sites where all of the videos are held for the bariatric yoga here. And I saw myself and I was a little caught off guard. So as I proceeded to watch just maybe 15 minutes, because I found it to be a little kind of like, why would I want to do this? I know what I'm about to do. I began to think that as I looked at the number of people who view it, that it might be that people turn the video on and then they just have it on and they go do other things. Because I had this thought, that's what I do. I'm a school teacher, and I'm very often, it's told to me or suggested that I watch this YouTube, or I'm assigned by, I hope my superintendent never sees this, but that he sends something and I'm to watch it. And I will most certainly turn it on and I will watch it. I hope your eyes are closed, but I put that in air quotes. And so as I have it playing in the background watching it, I do hear things. So in this sort of talk I'm giving to you now as you're practicing your breathing, and you may very well just have this playing in the background at some point in your life, that if that's the case, that I hope that if you are hearing me, that you will just tune into your breathing whenever you can, because that's all yoga really is a practice of coming into the moment. And the person who taught me about yoga turned me on to someone who taught me about mindfulness. And that mindfulness has taken me to a place where I just simply, whenever I can, I tune into my breath and I say, I am breathing in, I am breathing out. And that simple practice has changed my life. So as you sit here very still, or maybe you're running around, which is completely fine, which is also one of the beautiful things about yoga is there's never judgment. If you can, whenever you can, breathing in, just saying to yourself, I'm breathing in. And then I'm breathing out with maybe even a half smile on your face. And as we begin to have some movement here with this breath, maybe even blinking your eyes open if they are closed, we're going to begin by practicing pranayama together. Oh, I want to pick a satnam. I want to back up because they're so important to me in my practice, especially if I'm practicing breathing. So an I am statement, a satnam, something that is set right now in the present moment. I am something. Perhaps it's just I am practicing. I love that. But you pick, it's for you. Use it whenever you like. Maybe even in between breaths. So as you choose your satnam and you blink your eyes open, our palms are facing up. We're inviting some energy in. We're going to practice our sun breath. So on our in breath, we're going to create our own energy, push and pull. And on our in breath, we're going to lift the sun. Not really, because I don't have that kind of power. So I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to give a little push to the sun as it's not really wanting to come up without my breath and energy. And on the in breath, just lifting the sun. And then on the exhale, I'm pushing the sun down with my energy. And because this is not synchronized swimming, everyone is going to be doing this at their own pace with their own breath. And it doesn't match all the time, but the idea is the practice behind it. Checking in with the body, that you're only holding on to the energy here in your hands and arms and the core of your body. Maybe even taking the Satnam with the I am, the rising of the sun, the in breath. I am practicing. One more breath on your own. All your energy to push down. Feel the resistance that's created here in your own space. And then arms gently come to rest. Excellent. We're going to move into some cat-cows, and you can take that in a seated position if that's more comfortable for you, or moving into table. And also a reminder that if you have any knee problems, which I do, I like to take my mat and I can just kind of double it over for some added cushion on the knees. So that's always an option. So if you've chosen to take it in table, it's going to be just a beautiful relaxation, moving all the spinal juices around. So my knees are hip width distance apart. My palms are rooted down into the ground, starfish, fingertips. And then on the inhale breath, I'm going to drop the belly and lift the chin. Beautiful gaze up to the sky. I can even tuck the toes to get a deeper stretch. And then on the exhale breath, pointing the toes and then pushing away from the earth, rounding out the spine, tucking the chin. The ears come between the arms. Inhale breath, drop the belly, lift the heart space, shoulders come away from the ears. Exhale breath. Pushing everything out. In and out. Just moving at your own pace, yogis. And then eventually what starts to happen is that spinal fluid just really starts to warm up and you begin to get organic, whether you like it or not. So just start to move around, whatever feels good. You might feel sticky in one area, holding there, remembering that to breathe in is always an invitation to send help to something that's stuck. And on the exhale is an invitation to dig in a little deeper. Just moving around organically here. And then when you're ready, only when you're ready, take your time. You can always meet up with me later. We're going to tuck the toes and send the hips high for downward dog. And this might be the first time you've inverted yourself today, or in my case, in a week, or maybe a month. So be gentle with yourself. In downward dog, the hips are the highest elevated point of the body, and the blood is going crazy in different directions. So to hang out here takes some shoulder strength. If that's not there, feel free to drop back down to the knees. If you're feeling it, just hanging out here for a minute, so good for everything in your body. You may feel like walking the dog a little bit, pedaling out the toes and the feet. You might even feel like kicking up a third dog, three-legged dog, taking the left foot high to the sky, and then planting it, taking the right foot high to the sky. If those options don't work for you, please down to the knees. Just hanging out here for just a minute. And then when you're ready, take a look at your hands, in between your hands, and then walking the feet. Be careful if you did make a loop with your mat, walking your hands to meet your, walking your feet to meet your hands, and then hanging out in a forward fold. And if a generous bend in the knee is helpful for your forward fold, please, whatever works for you. If you happen to be here in the studio, we have blocks that can bring the floor or the earth up to meet you. If you're at home, I always grab the biggest can out of the pantry that I can find that serves to raise the floor up to meet me. I have very tight hamstrings, so any balance that can come up is helpful for me. Because the idea in a forward fold is that I really can relax and allow the inversion, allow gravity to do what gravity does. So as you're hanging out here and the blood flow is really reversing itself, it's great for the sinuses, headaches, great for backaches.
When you're ready, we're going to move whatever block or anything you're using, and we're going to gently come to just a halfway lift. We're not going to come all the way up because we've been inverted for a little bit. Don't want anyone to pass out. So just a halfway lift so that you're parallel to the earth, and then all the way back down, and then very gently rolling up one vertebra at a time until we find ourselves in a mountain pose. Taking your time. If you did double up your mat, you might want to unroll it so that you don't trip. And then finding mountain pose, Tadasana. One of our core poses, asanas, in a yoga practice, because it's so strong. It looks so simple, and yet you can make it as active as you would like, planting all four corners of your feet on the earth and allowing the calves to rotate in and the quads to rotate out, or vice versa, can really activate this asana, this posture. And then the fingertips, sending the fingertips long to the earth. And then checking in with the body, most especially the core. Belly button into the spine, pulling the pelvic floor up to meet that energy lock that's happening right here. And then the shoulders are away from the ears, the head's over the heart, and the heart's over the hips. The fingertips are shooting energy down to the sky. The crown of the head is high and the heart space is shining high. Big deep breath in. So not to lock the knees is also important, right? So it's like so much to think about in one pose, in one asana. Beautiful. Just check in with the body. Maybe even closing off the eyes. Big deep breath in. Check in with that Satnam. And then we're going to take the hands high to the sky, Ardha Hastasana, or upward salute. Palms are going to come together. And then we're going to reach, the left hand is going to grab a hold of the right wrist. And we're going to lean over to the right for a side stretch. No, wrong wrist to grab. The right hand grabs the left wrist. That took just a minute, which was a little too long. It's been a long day. Okay, now that stretch I'm feeling. So I'm not necessary to grab a hold. This might be enough for you. So you play around with it. But we're looking for the stretch to be here in the side body. Using the breath. Keeping the heart space open. 3 more rounds of intentional breathing. Checking in with all 4 corners of the feet. And on an exhale breath, release the stretch. Excellent. Inhale, both arms up high to the sky. And then we'll drop and stretch over to the left. And again, you can grab that wrist. I didn't really like that stretch for myself, but everything is personal and preferable individually, which is awesome. So you do you. The thing for me in a side stretch is the breathing, because my lungs are, one is stretched and one is, there's a word, it's not coming to me at the moment. Compressed. Thank you, Amy. And so the breathing is restricted in one area, but it's such great practice for the lungs. It's all practice. Returning to the Satnam whenever I feel like, oh, it's a little uncomfortable, but it's not meant at all to ever be hard, just to be practice. All right, yogis, we're going to take the right foot to the top of the mat for our warrior one stance. So the back foot will be at about 45 degrees. And we're going to keep moving this energy around. So the shoulders are going to square off as well to the front of the mat. And we're going to cactus out the arms. And instead of taking the sun and rising it and setting it, we're going to just move it east to west. And I don't know what direction I'm in, so I don't know which way is east or west. So we're just going to push the sun forward on an exhale breath. And on an inhale breath, we're going to cactus the arms back. And we're also going to do this with our body movement. So on an inhale breath, it's coming back. And on an exhale breath, we're going to push out. So exhale breath. And I can, and this is all you, yogi, lean forward as far as I and my body say is cool. And then it's an inhale breath to come back up into my warrior one. And then an exhale breath to go forward. And an inhale breath to return. Exhale to push forward. Inhale, breath up. Rising chest high. And working at your own pace, practicing at your own pace. And when you're ready to find some stillness, just holding that warrior one or even dropping the arms. When you're ready, yogis, just finding some stillness and then a rotation around to do the other side. So if you were right leg forward, now it'll be left leg to the top or now bottom, depending on your mat. So warrior one stance, again, checking the back foot to be at about 45 degrees. And never the knee over the toe. You always want to be able to see that toe, the big one. And then checking the hips, that they're squared off to the top of the mat. Cactusing out the arms. Beautiful. And then even closing off the eyes is a challenge for you whenever you choose it, if you choose it. Remember, it's an exhale breath to push out. So maybe even starting, I should have started with an inhale breath to prepare. And an exhale breath to push forward, going down only as far as you're comfortable. Inhaling to come back up, pulling up, heart high, chin high. Exhale. Inhaling back up. Exhaling, moving forward, pushing forward, moving with the energy, just flowing on your own. In and out. Being careful on the inhale, I can feel that in my lower back. So don't go too far. This one I always feel in my legs the next day. When you're ready, dropping the hands, and then we're going to rotate back to the center, keeping the feet wide. We'll see how this goes. I didn't actually practice this one before implementing, so we'll see. So we're now in a wide leg. We're going to do a star pose. So a gentle bend in the knee, cactusing out the arms, And then we're going to shoot high for star pose. Big smile on the face. Yes, in studio, we're smiling everywhere. And then here's the killer. It's not a killer. It's awesome for us. We're going to drop down into a yogi squat. And we're going to breathe in and breathe out. And then we're going to breathe in and come back up into star and smile. And then we're going to breathe out, yogi squat. Breathe in, breathe out, and breathe back up into star. Awesome. And then we're going to exhale back down into a yogi squat. Breathe in, breathe out, and then breathe back into star. Awesome. 2 more. Can we do it? Yes. Okay, back, exhale, back down into yogi squat. Woo. Breathe in, breathe out, and then breathe in back into star. Awesome. What's your Satnam? I am practicing. Exhale, back down. Excellent. In, out, back up. This is the last one, so we're going to make it count. Exhale, back down. We're going to breathe in, breathe out. We're going to breathe in, breathe out. I made you stay 1 extra breath. Breathe in all the way back up. You did it. Awesome. And then we'll drop the hands and then just tiptoe those feet back in and find mountain pose. Because that was a lot. Good job. Good job, everybody. Just find mountain and just close off your eyes and check in with yourself. Check in with your heartbeat. Don't lock your knees. How do you feel? Don't judge it. Just notice. You're showing up for the practice. If nothing else, if you're doing anything else, tune into the breath just for a moment. Mo better. The more often you do it, the better. Inhale, Ardha Hastasana, our upward salute. Arms east and west, come to meet high at the sky at the top in prayer. And then exhale, forward fold all the way down to the mat. Inhale all the way back up for our Ardha Hastasana. Palms come together at the top. Keep them together in prayer. And then down to your heartbeat. Tuck your thumbs into your heartbeat. Now check in with your heartbeat. Has it slowed at all? Is it still racing like mine? Okay. One more Ardha Hastasana. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, just drop the hands down. One more time. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms all the way down to your side. Beautiful, yogis. All right, making our way all the way down to the mat, to our supine position on our backs, all the way down to our backs. However you get there, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be pretty. It's just going to feel really good once we get there. Whew. All the way down. Woo-wee. We're going to have both the soles of our feet firmly planted on the earth. Same with the palms of our hands. Moving to bridge pose, can make sure that my shoulders are also making good contact with the mat. Now, you might notice that your spine is not fully connected to the mat. So let's remedy that for just a moment before we begin the asana. So try that energy lock that we talked about earlier. Tuck the belly button into the spine and pull your pelvic floor up to kind of meet that energy lock. When you do that, you sort of force the whole spine to meet the earth. That's Uddiyana Bandha, Mula Bandha in Sanskrit. And that energy lock that you have to do in order to force that spine down is such a great practice whenever you think about it. So mo better when you're going through the grocery, sitting at your desk, watching binge flicking Netflix, whatever. If you can think to lock that up, it's such great practice. Okay, release the lock, let the natural curve return to your spine. And then we're going to move the hips all the way up on an inhale breath. Sorry, it's an inhale breath to prepare. And it's the exhale breath that'll push the spine all the way down and then lift the hips up one vertebra at a time, rolling all the weight to the shoulders, not to the neck. I can also use the hands and feet to take on some of the weight. And then, yogis, breathe. Don't forget the breath. Breathing in and breathing out. And then when you're ready, it's the exhale breath that will gently lower you back down, one vertebra at a time. Let's take the right foot up high to the sky and cross it like a lady all the way over the left leg, lifting the left leg up off of the ground so that your calf is parallel to the earth. And we're going to just let the legs fall over to the left for a supine twist. You can cactus out your arms or make a T with them depending on the kind of space you have. And then, yogi, I just want you to just relax. Completely give in to gravity. Just focusing in on the breath. Big, deep inhales, feeling the chest rise. Exhaling out. When you're ready, re-engaging that energy lock to bring the legs back to a neutral central position. And then the sole of the left foot back to the earth, uncross the legs, and then send the left leg high to the sky. And then have it cross like you're a lady, even if you're not. Lifting the right leg, so like the right calf so that it's parallel to the earth. And then allow your legs to fall open to the right. To lift the head and look in the opposite direction can add a little to the stretch. But really, yogis, it's gravity that does the work here. So you can just be. I am practicing. How cool is that? If your mind has wandered, return to the breath. Return to your energy lock. Using an exhale breath, use that to bring the feet back to center, the legs back to center, uncrossing the legs, send the feet long for our, we have to do waterfall. I've never ended a session without it. Oh my goodness, almost forgot. Send both feet high to the sky. My favorite asana. Oh my. So if you have completely tuned out, please tune back in. This is the most least effort and most beneficial yoga position that anyone in the whole wide world can do. Whether you have 2 legs, 1 leg, 1.5 legs, doesn't matter.
Both legs up. And just holding them there for even just the 5 seconds. Now, if there's a position, an asana that you didn't get to, now would be the time to take it. Maybe happy baby, maybe plow is in your practice. If there's anything like that, now would be the time. Otherwise, I was trying to actually stay to my 45 minutes, which I'm not very good at. So we'll send the legs long now on the mat, and we'll end with our Shavasana, which is the most important besides legs up the wall or waterfall. So in Shavasana, just let everything fall open and really give into gravity now, because when your body's twisted up, it can be difficult. Now everything is just relaxed from the head all the way down to the toes. Let the sound of this bell just be the reminder to take the mind to the breath. Breathing in all the way to your toes. Breathing out everything that is not serving you anymore. You put the work into this practice. You've reaped the reward. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. A full body stretch might feel really good here. And when you're ready, just rolling over to your right side, making your way into a seated position. We'll take our final breath together, just tickling the earth. Big inhale up, palms together at the top in prayer. We'll tuck our thumbs into our heartbeat. So grateful. Please know the light in me bows and honors the light in you. Namaste. See you next time.